Um, Saurav, can you say something, please? Saurav Pal? Saurav, can you hear me? Could you please reply, otherwise I will remove you because I don't identify you. Saurav, can you identify yourself? Okay, you are removed. Okay, everyone else recognized. Kunal, can you say something?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Kunal. What's your full name?
Kunal Chaudhary.
Okay, all right, Kunal. Welcome to the class. Okay, so good evening, everybody. Um, I think that we are more or less all serious students over here because I have verified everybody. So I am allowing you all to unmute yourselves. Okay, so whenever you all want to speak, you all don't need to, kind of wait your turn or something. You can just say something. So just test out your mic once. Just you can unmute yourself and see that you are being able to mute and unmute yourselves. Okay. Uh, but ideally, don't leave your mic on unmute. Please keep your mic muted. If you want to say something, feel free to talk. Okay, because as we go along, we are trying to make these classes bit more interactive. Okay, slowly once we move to the entire once we move to the enrolled students batch from first, then we will even activate the chat box. Okay, because it will be a bunch of students who are like well recognized by us, and even the chat box will be open to the students. All right. So now today it's again legal reasoning class with me. Okay, I will no longer be taking all the classes as you all have seen. Now English and GK have been taken over by Rishabh sir. And I have spoken to many of you all individually, and consistently I have got like really, really good feedback about him. Personally, I feel like he's a real gem, because like the way he teaches, it really shows his kind of concern for the students. He really tries to make sure that everyone is understanding and everyone's participating, and he doesn't lose his patience. If like there's something, he explains it again and again. So I think like you all can consider him like something like an immediate role model. This is not something somebody I want to be 10 years in the future. This is somebody I want to be tomorrow, right? Once I get into law school, I want to be like that person, right? So even I was very similar to his personality right now, his fun loving nature. Of course, like when you go out of college, you become older, you get more responsibilities, you have to be little more serious. But that little bit of fun loving nature in me which you see and you like, that has come from college itself. Okay. So, having said all of this, today I'm going to take a legal reasoning class. Tomorrow will be a logical reasoning class by it will be by Shovik sir. Okay, Shovik sir is currently assistant professor in NUJS, and he was my senior by 2 years also in NUJS. Okay, and maths of course will be with Abhishek sir, who has always been taking maths. So there is no surprises there or nothing new over there. We are going to continue as usual. Okay, so if there are no comments or questions at this time, we can straight away begin with the worksheet. Okay, let us do two passages which I have prepared for you all in that worksheet, and after that we will see, what we want to do. Okay, so let's get started without any further discussions. Can everybody see the screen that I have shared? Is it
Yes, sir.
visible to all of you? Okay,
Yes,
great,
sir.
fine. All right. Then somebody who would like to read, I think you all will have to raise hands because like here we have to choose. Okay, Umang, you can go ahead. Just unmute yourself and start talking.
Yes, sir. So passage one, law of contempt. It is its role in contempt
Okay,
of
sorry, I've shared
Prashant
the wrong.
Bhushan case and ahead.
One second, I have shared the wrong screen. Just give me a second. I had prepared, that is the sectional test which I had given you all. Okay, that we will do later on if we get time. But first, I want you all to do this new passage, new worksheet which I was mentioning yesterday. That there's a new worksheet which I want you all to discuss today. That is this one. Okay, so yeah, you can start reading now.
Yes, sir. In the wake of COVID-19, a globally recognized pandemic, Delhi Commissioner of Police had imposed a prohibitory order under Section 144 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Section 144 of Criminal Procedure Code (CRPC) imposes power to the executive magistrate to restrict a particular or a group of persons residing in a particular area while visiting in a certain place or area. It prohibits the assembly of five or more people in an area. According to the law, every member of such unlawful assembly can be booked for engaging in rioting with maximum punishment of 3 years imprisonment. This move was implemented to prevent a danger to human life, health, and safety, and it is ultimately slow down the spread of COVID-19. As per the order, 1. Assembly of any kind of demonstration, procession, protest, etc. was prohibited. Second, any kind of gathering of any type, be it social, cultural, political, religious, academic, sports, seminar, conference, was prohibited. Third, organization of weekly market except for vegetable, fruits, and essential commodities, concert, exhibition, etc. was prohibited. Fourth, guided tours conducted by various private tour operators were prohibited. Fifth, any person contravening with order was punishable under Section 188 of Indian Penal Code. 6. However, essential services like delivery of milk, ration shops, vegetable stores, pharmacy stores, ambulance, fire brigades, electronic media, petrol pumps, home delivery of food and essential items, etc. were allowed to function. However, this order has created a confusion among the people who had assumed it as an imposition of curfew. This is a difference between imposition of Section 144 and curfew. Section 144 prohibits assembly of five or more people at one place at particular time. It also restricts the people mentioned in Article 19 of Constitution if the government thinks that the situation is not in order. Whereas in curfew, you are not permitted to leave your home except with prior approval of local police. People are ordered to stay indoors for specific time, which may be extended. Only administration and police personnel allowed on streets. Once the curfew is implemented, the district of administration is exempt from action. The element of timing is extremely relevant in case of curfew. Acknowledgement taken after edits and revision from an article published in the print.
Okay, good. Do you want to explain also what we are trying to say over here in this
So,
entire passage?
so basically in this passage, it is explained the difference of section 144 and curfew. So
Mhm.
in section 144, it says that um, not more than 4 or 5 people can roam around in the streets. Otherwise, it will be against the law. And in curfew, you are not allowed to move from your home.
Right. So basically, over here, um, the main difference that we are trying to project is the main difference. I don't know what fun some people get in disturbing the class and themselves. Like ultimately, everyone has to write the exam, right? There's somebody called Priyanshu in waiting room. Obviously, we have already got Priyanshu here. Priyanshu, can you just say something? Confirm that it's you.
Yeah, it's me, sir. Hello.
I recognize voices of
Am I
most of the
audible?
students also. Yeah. You're fine. You can mute yourself again. So I recognize the voice of most of the students also and the names also who are regularly appearing. Some students just like to disturb and create the fool. That's why, like, we have put these restrictions like waiting room. Okay, we have removed the chat box because a lot of the girls would be being harassed by, these guys who would just message them privately on the chat. So we removed the chat box. Then like they would kind of just unmute themselves and start playing these songs. This is why, like, we had put the feature that students cannot unmute themselves directly. but it's okay. So that's why, like, this person was able to unmute themselves and start playing some songs. So immediately you can see, because the mic starts moving up and down, just remove them and they won't be able to rejoin. And if they try to rejoin, they will come into the waiting room. So you just won't let them in again. Even if they use a different name, you have understood that, they're just here to create trouble. So I don't understand, like, what pleasure they'll get. Definitely, like, they did not do well in CLAT. That's why they're still here and, disturbing us. The only difference is, like, they won't benefit from the class. So I don't understand what the value is. Plus, it's just a matter of 2 or 3 more days. Then we are going to move to enroll students only, where anyway, like, there will be a lot of security before you enter the class, so that once you're in the class, then you can chat freely. We will open up the chat box. We will open up the, like right now we are trying to, you can unmute yourself anytime. We would even prefer if the students start their videos, because teaching to a blank screen doesn't make any sense. It's better to teach with the students videos, so that, there's kind of a face-to-face interaction like you have in a classroom. In a classroom, you can't, like, hide your face, right? While studying, you can't be anonymous, right? And it's of no use either. It's always better to learn face-to-face. That's how real learning takes place. So we are going to try this thing. We had started initially, where, like, all the students would keep their cameras on. um, and then again the same thing started happening. These guys started messaging those girls who had their videos on, and, like, a typical cheap Indian mentality that, I don't want to criticize India, but let me tell you, Indian men, although I am ashamed to say that I am myself an Indian man, but it's really kind of probably the worst behavior among men that I have seen across the world. Like in other countries, and I'm not saying, like, it's something which is, like, so generic or general. You can't, like, of course, stereotype like that, but definitely, stereotypes do exist for a reason, at least in this case. Like, I have rarely seen Indian men hold themselves to a standard which dispels the kind of stereotype that is maintained about them. So anyway, let's hope for a better future. Let's hope that, one fine day in the future, we can educate others, and we can, like, be the ones who make that difference. So let's see. But for time being, we will have to have these kind of measures in place. Okay. So having said all of this, we are talking about the COVID situation. Like you all know, I think COVID will form even in 2021 CLAT. COVID will probably form half of the topics that are relevant for the CLAT 2021 paper. Okay. Even this time you saw the same thing. Even next time you will see, and not only in legal, in English, in logical, in every single subject, you will find the topic of coronavirus. Okay. So this is no different. Here also we have topic of coronavirus. When you are talking from legal point of view of coronavirus, there are going to be few subtopics that you need to discuss, which we have discussed also in past. If you have studied with me for few months also, or even few weeks, you would have seen. Like for example, Epidemic Diseases Act, right? Epidemic Diseases Act is the act under which the entire coronavirus in India was regulated. Okay. Apart from that, the Essential Commodities Act. Okay, so it regulates the price of essential commodities, which keep fluctuating, right? In a time of pandemic, sometimes the price of some commodity which is considered essential, like maybe like some food grains and things like that, would go sky high, right? So to avoid that, there's the Essential Commodities Act. This is like to prevent hoarding and black marketing and things like this, illegal practices like this. Okay. Similarly, if you look at COVID from a criminal law point of view, then you will see that there is a section 144 in CRPC. The other day we were discussing with regard to Thailand, whenever there was a Thailand demonstrators or protests, at that point of time they imposed 144, which means not more than 4 or 5 people, depending on the country, can gather in one place at one time. Okay. Now, in India, there is one more section in IPC called unlawful assembly. Unlawful assembly means when there is a group of 5 or more people who basically kind of gather in a place for an illegal purpose. Okay, let's say like they are rioters. Okay, or let's say they are thieves, or they could be protesters. There could be a conspiracy amongst them. Anything. Okay, if they have gathered in one place of 5 people with the illegal intention, with a mens rea. Okay, and there is actus reus. Actus reus is basically the act. The guilty act, like guilty mind is mens rea, similarly guilty act is actus reus. So the fact that they are over there, that is an action, right? If I think in my mind that I am going to kill the queen, that is not illegal. It's just some thought I had in my head that I will kill the queen. But if I go to the Buckingham Palace with a knife in my hand looking for queen, that is actus reus, isn't it? So the fact that they have gathered in that particular place shows that there is some kind of guilty mind, that there is some intention. So there is actus reus plus there is mens rea. All right. But if you see, it says 5 or more people. So therefore, if you have uh, less than 5 people, then it is not violating 144. So if I'm going alone, or if with me one person or two persons or three persons are tagging along with me, then it is not unlawful assembly. Okay, then it is not a violation of 144. But there is something stricter than 144, and that is called curfew. Curfew means total curfew. Like we had Janta curfew, then we had like more severe forms of curfew. Curfew means not a single person is allowed to leave their house at all. Okay, during the initial days of lockdown, this was the case, right? There was no 144 and all. There was total curfew. Like you can't leave the house. If you leave the house, the police are going to beat you up and send you back. That's what you used to happen, right? Initially. So that's what we have to remember, that there is a difference between 144 and curfew. 144, although it is very strict, it still allows few people, okay, to gather in one place at one time, as long as the object is not illegal, the intention is not illegal to perform an illegal activity. Okay, during COVID, if 4 or 5 people gather and rob a store, that is still illegal, isn't it? Because the activity they are doing is illegal. But if they gather for some like legal purpose, then it's fine. Okay. Now, it's not merely kind of a very generic kind of a thing, okay, but rather there are very specific 6 categories which have been mentioned over here, okay, as per the Delhi Commissioner of Police order of 144. So there were specific things. So if it's an order of 144, it definitely means that there was no curfew. It's not like a single person was also not allowed to go outside. You could go outside, but there were certain restrictions. Let us see what are those restrictions one by one. Okay. Assembly of any kind for demonstration, procession, protest, etc. So suppose you are having a Rath Yatra, okay, or if you are having a kind of any kind of procession, okay, it was for Muharram or Rath Yatra, or protest, like if you're anti-CA or anti NPR or any of these NRC kind of things, not allowed. In Delhi, of course, Rath Yatra was allowed in a smaller manner in Odisha. Similarly, Muharram was also allowed in few places. Okay, but in Delhi, by and large, as per this order, none of these things would be allowed. Okay, unless they were carried out. No, not even if they were carried out by a small number of people. Assembly of any kind, means even assembly of 2 people, okay, was not allowed. Understood? So it doesn't mean that 144 means in all the cases 5 people are allowed. It means that usually 5 people are allowed, but even within that they might put. So if you say over here, it might be something like there is a curfew for demonstration, procession, protest, because assembly of any kind of these is not allowed. So there is 144 for other things, but for demonstration there is curfew. You can't, even one person can't go and say that CAA and CA or Muharram or Rath Yatra. That's not the correct time to do all these things. Okay, you sit at home. Okay, when is the 144 applicable? When a few people are allowed? Let's see. Any kind of gathering of any type, be it social, cultural, political, religious, etc., was prohibited. So once again, it's a curfew. Okay, on social, cultural, political kind of activities or gatherings. Okay, so you can't have a rally. You can't have a rally of even 4 people who are attending. Okay, you can't have a rally of even one person who's attending. Okay, no social, you can't have a theater, or you can't have a play, you can't have a religious function, nothing. Okay, so there is total curfew in number 1 and number 2. Total curfew, not 144. Okay. Organization of weekly markets except for vegetables, fruits, and essential commodities. Concerts, exhibitions were prohibited. So once again, it is curfew for weekly markets. For vegetables, etc., it is 144. You understand? So if you're having a weekly market where you are selling like kind of very fancy items like cakes and biscuits and all of these things, that is not allowed. But if you are selling vegetables, then okay, you can kind of go ahead for that. Similarly, guided tours for private operators, you can't have tour guides and this kind, obviously, right? These are not activities you are supposed to perform during a COVID. Okay. Anyone contravening this order was punishable at 188 of IPCs, where it punishes violation of any of these kind of orders. Okay. Over here, it is like usually up to a maximum of 3 years and stuff like this. Okay. However, essential services like delivery of milk, ration shops, vegetable stores, pharmacies, fire brigades, obviously all these essential services like medical supplies, basic food, home delivery of food and essential items were allowed to function. Okay, that's why you used to find that Big Basket, Swiggy, Zomato, all these were allowed to function. Okay, and home delivery means like it was even allowing Swiggy to operate. Swiggy had started operating those kind of essential goods also, like rice and dal and meat and all these things they would supply to your house, along with their usual, restaurant items and stuff like that. So this is what we had seen took place at that time. However, this order created a confusion among public who assumed it as an imposition of curfew. Like I said earlier, that no one can go out anywhere. There's a difference between imposition of 144 and curfew. 144 prohibits assembly of 5 or more people at one place at particular time. It restricts the right of Article 19 if the government thinks the situation is not in order. 19 is freedom. So freedom of speech. So if you are curtailing the right to a rally, the right to protest and all of these things, it's a curtailment of your Article 19 freedom of speech and expression, isn't it? But it is subject to reasonable restrictions. Reasonable restrictions usually are of public health, morality, and policy. Okay, so this is the case of public health. If you are going to go and protest and do all these things, it is risking the lives of people. So it is against public policy. It is against public health also, right? Whereas in curfew, you are not permitted to leave your home except with prior approval of local police. People are ordered to stay indoors for specific time, which may be extended. Only administration is allowed on streets. Once the curfew is implemented, the district administration is exempt from action. The element of time is extremely relevant for curfew. Remember, we even had Janta curfew for only 24 hours. Okay, so these kind of things are very important. All right. And one thing which is not stated clearly here, but this is something which is the reasoning part of legal reasoning. Okay, like something you have to understand here. Just because it says that in 144, 5 or more people are banned, doesn't mean 4 people can go and do the work of one person. You get my point? If there is like some kind of immediate, like if suppose like the Swiggy guy could not find the exact locality of where he is supposed to come for delivering the food. So suppose he is at the main road and he said, Ki, sir, can you just come and take the food from here? I can't find your locality. Or there is some kind of blockade, something. Doesn't mean that my entire family members will go and take the delivery. I am enough. Okay. So in time of emergency, if you see over here, it says imposes power to restrict a group of persons from visiting a particular area. Okay, so it basically is trying to say that they are trying to reduce the number of people who are out on the streets publicly. That is the spirit of the law, not only the letter of the law. Understood? So this is also something which you have to keep in mind while going through this section. All right. Now, one by one, does anyone have any questions or any doubts regarding the passage? No? Okay. So then let us go to questions one by one. Whoever wants to answer, please raise your hand and we will go ahead. Okay. Take a look, take a second to read it, form your opinion, then raise your hand and I will ask. Yes, Shantanu, go ahead.
So the answer for first question should be C, Because like you said, vegetables can be purchased by one person and
Correct.
the whole family went out in this case.
Correct. So first of all, if you see that the vegetables could have been purchased by one person also. There was no need for whole family to step out to buy vegetables, right? One person could have gone and bought the vegetables. That is the spirit of the act. Okay, so it's like they are going for a joyride. Okay, five people are going to buy vegetables. That's going for a joyride. That's not serious. Okay. Second of all, if you see, it says also like five or more people. Okay, here if you see, it's already a family of four people along with their driver. So it doesn't matter that they all have to be related, they all have to be together. So there are five people already, so they are anyway violating the law, isn't it? Isn't it? So if you are five or more people, you are in violation of 144. Simple enough, isn't it? So the answer will be C. Good. Next. Okay, whoever wants to answer once again, take a second to look at the question, look at the options, and then try and answer. What do you think could be the answer to this? Okay, we have Shantanu. Let's give another minute to other people also to try and answer. Okay. Otherwise, Shantanu will answer. But I think that, some of you all, okay, Ananya, go ahead.
Okay, so I think the answer, the correct option is B, because as it says, demonstrations and gatherings related to religion is prohibited when Section 144 is implemented, and only Section B agrees with that. The rest of them are supporting the people. No, option C and D supports states that the action of police is wrong.
Yeah, so it says
And
that,
even the option A supports the argument of the wait. Yes, okay, it's option B. The argument of people is wrong. Yes, it's option B, because A, C, and D go in the same linear thought that they should have the right to worship, as it's their right under, it's their fundamental right, while B opposes that. And since it's mentioned in the passage that it's under Section 144, religious practices should be prohibited. In the name of religion, they should gathering should be prohibited. Thus, B should be the correct option.
correct. Very good. Okay. So exactly, Ananya, you are right. And see, the reason why I'm saying is that option A, C, and D are similar, because while option A says that the argument of people is right, in C and D it says the action of police is wrong. So in a way, you are saying people are right. If you are saying police are wrong, people are right. If you are saying people are right, then police is wrong. It means the same thing. So only one option is actually saying people are wrong or that police is right. Okay. Now, if you see over here very clearly, it says that 40 people gathered in masjid for namaz on Friday. Okay. And they have given the reason of right to religion. Right to religion is obviously definitely a fundamental right to freedom of worship and everything, right? But if you see here very clearly, it says any kind of political or religious or academics, etc. gathering. So any kind of religious gathering is clearly banned. Okay, so we don't even need to look at the logic of A, C, and D. The logic is clearly going to be wrong, because religious gatherings are banned, whether it is for namaz, or whether it is for prayers of any other religion. It doesn't matter. Okay. One more thing I want to add in this, which is not related to this question specifically, but relating to the Tablighi Jamaat issue which had happened. This question is kind of framed on that issue. And while it takes the stand that yes, Tablighi Jamaat was wrong, but there were many other events which are also wrong. Like, for example, the Namaste Trump event, which happened very much when coronavirus was in full force. Nobody talks about that. Similarly, you had the Ram Janam Bhoomi Puja, which took place, which was something which, like, this case was for 50 years, right? And that puja had to take place during the pandemic only, but nobody said anything, right? Similarly, now if you see today, coronavirus is more widespread than ever. It has not reduced. The curve has not been flattened or anything. Okay, India, I think, is like I think maybe the third or fourth country with the most number of cases in the world right now, right? So there is no way in which we can say that coronavirus is over now. Even Amitabh Bachchan on his ringtone says that till now coronavirus is not over. But see, if you go around on the streets, it will appear the way people are behaving. It will appear that coronavirus is over, right? So basically, this kind of religious events, which definitely are wrong, they should not be used to kind of politicize the matter or give a religious flavor to a kind of a natural disaster, which is pandemic, right? Even like the RSS, even Mohan Bhagwat, the chief of RSS, said recently that the way that Indians reacted to Tablighi Jamaat was wrong. Giving a religious color to the coronavirus pandemic was wrong. So I'm very glad that we have acknowledged this thing, because at that point of time it had become very kind of like the whole situation has been caused because of that one event only, which is not true. While it might have been a super spreader event, there were many others. In the Ram Janambhoomi Puja, the chief priest turned out to have coronavirus. Yes, John, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
The RSS chiefs, that thing was in Faisan Mustafa territory, right? In the
Yeah,
Hindu.
that's right. It was in Pradhan Mustafa's editorial, which I actually made a question on in the mock test which you're preparing in the run up to CLAT, thinking that they are going to give some passages which are relevant from the topics that they have actually written about and things like that. But we all know what happened in
Bro.
that case. So
Yes, sir.
yeah. Anyway, so moving on to the next question. Please take your time, read it, and then raise your hand. And ideally, we want to hear from somebody new, apart from Shantanu and Ananya. Any other person would like to answer? We would like to give everybody a chance. Okay. So there are, I think, 9 or 10 questions. There's one passage here, then there's one more passage. So ideally, everyone should answer one question. Okay, that's the way we should go about. We should aim for entire participation. All right. So read it. You should think to yourself that okay, I'm going to answer one question today. Okay, and we will always give a new person a chance. So think like this: there are 9, 10 questions. I want to answer any one. So choose a question and answer. Okay, this one is Mimansha. Go ahead, Mimansha.
So I think B is correct as it is clearly mentioned.
Would like to read out the question first once.
Yes. The question says Roy, a resident of Malviya Nagar in Delhi, turned 22 years of age when Section 144 was imposed in Delhi. Not willing to miss out on birthday celebrations, Roy invited his 10 friends from the same colony to his home for a birthday party. He ordered 10 medium sized pizzas and 20 cans of Coke from Pizza Hut through Zomato. From a reading of the magistrate's order, was Roy in violation of the law? I think option B is correct because according to section 144, it prohibits social gathering, and in this case, it has in the form of social gathering. So,
But what is wrong with answer A? What's wrong with option A, option D? Option C, okay, of course, like he did no wrong. We all know that calling 10 people is wrong. So it can't be option C. But why not option A or D? Why B?
because in option A, it says that. So just a minute.
You are right. By the way, your answer is correct. You are right. Okay. But I want you to justify.
Yeah, because it's clearly mentioned over there that social gathering and public gathering are prohibited according to section 144.
Right.
And here, yeah, and here 10 of his friends were called. So
correct. Yes, you are on right track. What you are saying is exactly correct. Okay, B is the most exact and direct answer. Like if I ask you, you know, suppose you are not well, okay, and you don't come to class, and I ask you, and I've already told everybody that those who are unwell, they should not come to class, okay. So then if I ask you that why you didn't come to class, so you will say that, sir, because I was unwell, and because you had said that those who are unwell are not supposed to come to class, right? It's a very direct answer, right? It's based on what I have told you. Similarly, the magistrate has said that uh, there should not be any social gathering, and birthday party is social gathering, so it's as clear as that, right? Why you should not have birthday party? Because it's a social gathering and you have banned the social gatherings. Done. If you look at option A, it is going more in the way of 144 prevents gathering of more than 4 people. So what? But what is the further more kind of detailed answer? It's a gathering, but so what? It's any gathering of 4 people is banned at the same time, yes, but specifically social gatherings are banned. So it is a more direct, more specific answer which will precede the more general answer. Okay, so if I say because gathering of 4 people is banned, yeah, of course, like I know that, but that is what 144 says, that gathering of 4 people is banned. But specifically, the magistrate's order, I have asked, from a reading of magistrate's order, when you are saying 144, you are reading IPC. But when you are saying social gathering, you are reading the magistrate's order, right? Which is more specific. And why not D? Why not D? Because the aim of the order was to protect health. Did I ask you what's the aim of the order and what's the morality behind it? No. I asked you what's written in the order. I didn't ask you why the magistrate passed that order. Maybe the magistrate, he or she, passed it because they were in a good mood that day. They felt this is the right thing to do. That's not relevant why they passed. What's relevant is that it was passed, and what did it say? It said that social gatherings are banned. Birthday party is type of social gathering. Therefore, he was wrong to celebrate his birthday. Right? Good. Next one. Again, somebody apart from Shantanu, Ananya, and Mimansha. Okay. Take your time, read the passage, and answer. Raise your hand. Yes, Ashank. Ashank, I saw your hand raised first. Priyanshu, you can try the next one if you like. I'll give you first chance for question 5. Okay, Ashank, go ahead.
Sir, I also read the question also.
Yes, please. Please read the question. Whenever you are answering, please read the question out loud.
Okay, sir. Taking the same fact as question 4 into account, assume that pizza delivery boy, when going to deliver pizza at Roy's house, was stopped midway and was prevented from proceeding to Roy's house by the police authority. Decide. A. Police authority were right as Section 144 was imposed and only essential commodities and services are exempted from its application. Pizza, Coke are not essential in any way. Police authorities were right as exemption of delivery from the scope of Section 144 from the birthday party and any other official gathering. Police authority were wrong as the birthday party was organized in the 4 corners of the house and the delivery of boy was not a part of unlawful assembly. The police authority were wrong as order clearly mentioned home delivery of food is essential service hereby exempted from application of section 144. Any type of food will be regarded as such whether it is junk or food or the healthy food. So I think the option A will be right because in the above passage say it's talk about the essential food commodities in the
Okay.
food.
Okay.
And the pizza and cokes are the junk food and it is not considered as an essential commodity of someone.
Okay. But
So,
where is it saying that only essential commodities are, this thing from the application? What you are saying? Where is it mentioned like this?
so it's in the passage.
Over here, right?
Yes, sir. Like milk ration shops.
Essential services like delivery of milk, ration shops, vegetable stores, pharmacy, etc., 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 home delivery of food and essential items, etc., were allowed to function, isn't it?
Yes,
Now,
sir.
you can read this in two ways. Okay, you can say that the police authorities were right as exemption of home delivery from the scope of section 144. Sorry, which one was it? Yeah, the
Yes.
police authorities were right as section 144 was imposed, and only the essential commodities and services were exempt from its application. Pizza and Coke are not essential anyway. Here it is talking about essential commodities and services.
Yes, sir.
Here it's talking about essential commodities and services. Okay. Here it is talking about
Essential
essential
service.
items.
And sir,
There's a
how?
difference between items and services, number one. Number two, it is saying home delivery of food and essential items.
Yes, sir.
So food A and essential items B. So if you call essential items for example, if you say vegetables and rice, okay, they're essential items. Or if you say like medical supplies or equipment, okay, like ventilators or let's say masks or sanitizers, these are essential items. Okay, then you would say home delivery of food and essential items, etc. So you can have home delivery of food and you can have home delivery of essential items.
Items.
Understood? So
Yes.
food does not need to be essential food. It doesn't say anywhere that food needs to be rice, because rice, when you call it essential item, rice is the uncooked rice.
Yes, sir.
When you talk about essential items, when you talk about rice and vegetables, they're uncooked rice and uncooked vegetables. You don't call it as food. Food means food which you are going to eat, right? Cooked food. So home delivery of food normally would mean Zomato, Swiggy, these kind of things. And essential items would mean rice and masks and sanitizers and those kind of things. So you can have home delivery of food and you can have home delivery of essential items. So this is called reading order. It is called interpretation of statutes, which you will study. Okay, when you go to law school, then you will study something called interpretation of statutes. Okay, this is a plain reading of the text. Plain reading of the text means when you're saying home delivery of food and essential items, it means home delivery of food and it means home delivery of essential items. Rice is not food. Rice is an essential item because it's uncooked raw material from which you will make food. Okay. Because a lot of people at that time were not being able to cook in their house also. Right. So that's why food was being delivered to people from like langars and everything also. And also like, high-end things like Swiggy and Zomato. Okay. Food is food. It doesn't matter, the stylishness of food. Right. Suppose there's an Italian who is stuck in the pandemic in some place, they will order pizza because for them it's a staple diet. For them, you cannot say some kind of fancy food or fast food, right?
Yes.
So this is the thing. So you have to read the question also very very carefully, and even in the sort of kind of question, it says here essential commodities and services. This is nowhere mentioned in the passage as essential commodities and services. It is mentioned as food and essential commodities. Okay, so no way pizza and Coke is essential commodity, but it is food. So that's why it will be allowed. Okay, so this is something like a trick question.
Yes.
All right. You have to be little careful when you read the passage and when you read the options. But I think like great job because like of course you are just reading the passage once and answering the question. So if I was in your place, I would have also answered the same thing. Okay. This is a bit of trick question because what I meant was food could be any food. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's why what would be the answer now in this case?
So C.
See, read it again once. What would be the answer now?
The police authorities were wrong as the but.
That's not true. How do you know that they were organized in four corners of the house?
Answer it also gives that in the same fact of question 4.
Hmm.
In question 4, it's taking the same fact means the above passage in the same above question it says that there are 10. He invited 10 friends.
Right.
So C will be not the right answer.
Hmm.
So D, sir.
D.
Yes,
The
sir.
police authorities were wrong as the order clearly mentioned home delivery of food as an essential service and thereby exempted from application of section 144. Any type of food will be regarded as such, whether it is junk food, fast food, or healthy food.
Yes.
Right? Food is food. They did not specify that it's junk food or healthy food. But always remember that the birthday party itself is still unlawful assembly. We are only talking about home delivery.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the home delivery was legal, but the party itself was still illegal. So if that guy had alone bought for himself pizza, that would be fine. But he bought pizza for like 10 different people, so that is not fine. Okay, the pizza delivery boy or pizza delivery girl is completely legal from the food company's point of view, the Zomato or Swiggy point of view. They have not done anything wrong, so they are totally off the hook. But the birthday party, people who are attending birthday party, they are still liable. They are still guilty. Not for ordering the food, but for holding the party in the first place, for attending the party in the first place. Right. Okay, good. It was a bit of trick question, so you all answered well. I'm happy. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Now, question number 5. Okay, read it carefully. Somebody new should answer. Yes, Priyanshu, go ahead.
So I think A should be the answer.
Okay. Why?
Because like section 144 CRPC and curfew are two different provisions, and saying that curfew is extension of 144 doesn't really make any sense to me. Like
Okay.
I get it. It's more strict as compared to section 144, but saying it's extension of section 144, I think so that's wrong. And
Okay.
C says that time is irrelevant in the imposition of section 144. Like we cannot assume that when time is not mentioned about section 144 in the passage. Like the time aspect of the section 144 is not talked about.
Okay. So can you tell me something? Is curfew found in criminal law in India? Like section 144 CRPC, you are exactly telling me a section in CRPC. Is there
Yeah.
something similarly related in CRPC or anywhere else in Indian law for curfew? Can you check and tell me?
You
All
want me
of
to
you.
check right now?
Yeah,
Okay.
all of you. Take a minute, check, Google it, check and tell me, is there anything related to curfew in CRPC, IPC, these kind of things? Yes, Ananya.
So this is the first article I found. I'm hoping it's accurate, but it states that uh, a curfew a curfew is when section 144 is imposed along with essential services shut down completely.
So that means what?
So in this case, in the case of simply section 144 being imposed, essential delivery of essential items and a food is permissible, but in curfew even that is absent.
Agreed. So now from the options, which one is most accurate?
Option C is gone. So B should be
So
right.
D
B
would
should
be
be
the
right.
answer then.
B
Okay,
should be
D would.
right.
B. And you, Priyanshu?
Yeah, then B would be the answer then, because
Because,
they
It's
have become related in a way then. If it
because
makes
A
sense to
is
me.
automatically eliminated. There's no mention of
Yeah.
time in simply section 144. The only element of time relevant to curfew is mentioned in the
correct,
last line of the
correct.
passage.
So
So I
first of
think
all,
only
right. So first of all, let's eliminate C. Okay, it says here the element of time is extremely relevant in case of a curfew, isn't it? Now, if you see the option, here it says the element of time is relevant in case of curfew and irrelevant in case of 144. Where does it say so? It doesn't say so. Okay. In fact, what you have read and understood is that curfew is a facet of 144, isn't it? Curfew is a subtype of 144. 144 says that, more than 5 people cannot be allowed, blah blah blah. And then you have curfew below that, which says curfew is a type of 144 where even 5 people are not allowed, even one person is not allowed, even essential services are not allowed, right? So the element of time is relevant in case of curfew and is irrelevant in case of, this is not mentioned anywhere. You cannot assume this out of nowhere. So C is eliminated. Since C is eliminated, D is eliminated because D says all of the above. So the moment you are saying it cannot be C, obviously it cannot be D also, right? So you are left with A and B. Now, there's a strict difference between 144 and curfew, and one is in no way related to other. Okay. Now, first of all, even if I don't know the difference between 144 and curfew, the moment I read some sentence like in no way related, okay, there's a strict difference. I kind of get suspicious because anything which says always, never, absolute statements, I don't like absolute statements. This will never happen. He will always do that. She will always do this. No. Okay. So I'm suspicious of A. B, curfew is an extended form of 144 and is much more extreme as it prevents even a single person from moving out without prior permission of police. Right. So this is your some sort of legal knowledge, isn't it? It's some sort of your legal knowledge. That
Excuse me, sir.
curfew is more strict
Okay.
than, yeah.
Yes, sir. The question says can be drawn out of the passage. So how can we draw that? How can we draw the inference like the option B? How we can
Yeah,
infer
I'm
option B from the passage?
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. Okay. If you read this passage, you will understand that there is a difference between the two, but there's a connection also. It's not just totally your legal knowledge. Okay. It is an inference you can draw from this passage, even if you have not studied the difference between 144 and curfew. However, this order had created a confusion among public who had assumed it an imposition of curfew. That itself means that there is some relation between 144 and curfew. Isn't it? The fact that some people read an order of 144 and thought it's curfew, it means that they thought 144 in the nature of a curfew has been imposed. And it was later clarified that it was 144 in the nature of curfew only for few things. Secondly, if you see here, assembly of any kind for demonstration, any kind of gathering, okay, guided tours conducted, these are curfew. These are curfew. Okay, except for vegetable, fruit, and essential commodities, these are 144. What do you think? When it says exceptions means 50 people can go and buy vegetables together? No, it means 5 people can go. It means that there is 144. But if you say organization of weekly market, even 5 people cannot go. So it's a curfew. It's not a 144. You understand? That is how you can infer it from the passage. Do you get my point? Okay. I think that you are not convinced from your silence.
No, I
Right?
am convinced. I get it now. Like when I read the last passage again, like I mean, it's not directly
It will not be.
mentioned. There would be then
It will not
confusion.
be. If you look
Yeah,
at the
but
CLAT
it's
paper this time, has anything been mentioned directly?
no.
Right? You have to kind of, interpolate from
Yeah.
your data that is given to
I mean,
you.
also it's also infer, right? So it won't be directly
Exactly.
mentioned.
It is an
Okay.
inference. It is an inference. It's not a direct one-to-one question, right? Section 144 prohibits an assembly of 5 or more people. How many people does 144 prohibit? They're not going to ask you this, right? That's the reason. See, it's better that you do these questions right now and hone your skills, because these are the exact type of questions that came in CLAT. Don't you think that this question is very similar to what you got in CLAT? Isn't it? So the more you hone yourself right now with regard to these kind of questions, where half of it is like given and the other half is your own reasoning, right? The better prepared you will be for CLAT. Okay. So That is one passage that we have come to the end of. I have given the answers over here because I will share this worksheet with you after the class. You can go and read it and see, how much you were able to, get out of it. Okay. Now, moving on to the second passage. Who would like to read? Please raise your hand. Okay, Ashank, go ahead.
Section 378 of Indian Penal Code 1860. Whoever intending to take dishonestly any movable property out of the possession of any person without that person's consent moves that property in order to such taking is said to commit a theft. Explanation 1. A thing so long as it is attached to the earth, not being movable property, is not a subject of theft, but it becomes capable of being a subject of theft as soon as it is swurged from the earth. Explanation 2. Moving affected by the same act which affect the severance may be a theft. Explanation 3. A person is said to cause a thing to move by reasoning an obstacle which prevented it from moving, or by separating it from any other things as by actually moving it. Explanation 4. A person who by any means causes an animal to move is said to move that animal and to move everything which in consequence of motion so caused is moved by that animal. Explanation 5. The consent mentioned in the definition may express or implied and may be given either by the person in possession or by the person having for that purpose authority, either express or implied. The Supreme Court in the case of K.N. Mehra versus State of Rajasthan held that the proof of intention to cause a permanent deprivation of the property or to obtain a wrongful gain is not necessary for the purpose of proving a dishonest intention. Absence of person's consent to whom the property belong at the time of moving it, and the presence of dishonest intention at the time of taking the property are the essential to commit a theft. Note, sir, scroll down. Voluntary intoxication is not a defense to a crime. Acknowledgement case brief from K.N. Mehra versus State of Rajasthan.
Okay, good. Do you want to explain what does this passage say?
So this passage talks about the section 378 of IPC of 1860, which says about theft means a person taking a movable property without a consent is said to commit a theft. And here there are some explanations how can a theft be like taking an animal without a consent is also a theft, and was removing an obstacle which prevent from moving or separating from any other is by actual moving it is also to commit a theft. A moving affected by the same act which affect the severance of may be a theft.
Right. Good. Okay, and then there's a case. So let me explain briefly. Section 378 is one of the most important sections of IPC. It is about theft. We all know about theft. Okay, when somebody takes something which doesn't belong to them, that is called theft. Okay. But in law, it is slightly more detailed and specific. Okay. So whoever intending to take dishonestly any movable property out of the possession of any person without that person's consent moves that property in order to such taking is said to commit theft. Okay. Now, what does it mean exactly? Intending to take dishonestly. So, first of all, dishonesty means mens rea has to be there. There has to be a bad intention, guilty mind. Okay, all those things. Number one. Number two, actus reus means takes, means moves that property in order to such taking. It doesn't mean take out of possession. Okay. So suppose let's say that I came over to your house, okay, for a dinner party. All right. I saw a very beautiful pen that you have got. Okay. Now, possession means what? Possession means constructive possession. Anything inside your house is in your possession. Okay. So what I did, that your pen was kept on table. Okay. But I took it from the table and I kept it in another place, okay, inside a drawer, okay, in a kind of side table which was next to me where I was sitting. So I went to that to your room. I took the pen from the table and I kept it inside a drawer over here, thinking that when I leave, that time I will take the pen with me. Okay, so therefore, when I leave, I will take it out of your possession. So tell me something. When I left the party, then I opened that drawer, I took the pen, and I said goodbye to you, and I left. Okay. So at what point? First of all, I committed theft. That is very, very clear. But at what point did I commit theft? Can anyone tell me? When can you say that, oh, you committed the theft? All right. I saw John first. John, go ahead.
Sir, you committed theft when you moved the pen with a dishonest intention.
Right. Whoever intending to take dishonestly any movable property out of possession. So at that time, I had an intention that, oh, I will take this pen out of your possession later, not now. Later on, I will take it. But just to hide it in some place, I moved it to a drawer. Okay. Moves that property in order to later on take. Okay. That is said to commit theft. All right. Like, for example, there's one story by Jeffrey Archer. Jeffrey Archer is like a short story writer, one of my favorite authors. You all can read that also for your reading. Short stories, very, very short stories, very, very good. He's a lord in London also, in the parliament, British parliament also. And he was jailed for perjury, for lying to the court. Okay. Now, he wrote a short story where one man went to a jewelry shop, okay, and he asked to see few rings for his wife, okay, and he was like looking at few rings and everything, and then he said, okay, thank you and everything, and he was going to go. Then the shopkeeper said, but there are only four rings. You asked to see five rings, but here there are only four rings. So he said, I don't know where's the fifth ring. It's not my fault. So they searched him completely, top to bottom. They took out his shoes also and his coat and everything. They could not find the ring on him. So they said, okay, sir, you can go. What can we say? Like, we don't know where is the ring. You can go. Then in the evening, his wife came, and like, of course, the shopkeeper would not know who is the man and who is his wife, right? There's no relation between the two people. And just where they were seeing the ring, no, the table over there, what he had done, he had put a chewing gum below the table and he had put the ring and stuck it over there. Okay, so the wife came. Wife was behaving like any other normal shopper, like complete stranger to that man. And she came, she took out the ring and she walked away with it. So, do you think that the husband committed theft or not? Did the husband commit theft or not? Yeah, go ahead, Shantanu.
Yes, sir, he committed theft.
Why? How can you
So
say he
because
did
he
not take the
moved the
ring?
ring. He moved the ring with an intention of stealing it.
He moved the ring with the intention of taking it out of possession. And it doesn't need to be also that that same person will take it out of possession. It can be an accomplice, like the wife in this case. Okay. So that is theft. All right. Now there are few explanations. A thing, so long as it is attached to the earth, not being movable property, is not the subject to theft. But it becomes capable the moment. So, for example, what is movable and what is immovable property? Immovable property is anything that is attached to the earth. For example, a tree. For example, a building. Okay, things like this. Immovable property. Now, in the Sale of Goods Act, for example, immovable property. So, for example, if you are selling a movable property, a tree, till the time that it is attached to earth, it is immovable property. But the moment you cut it down, it becomes movable property. Understood? So the moment you cut down a tree, it becomes liable for theft. You cannot steal a tree when it is attached to earth, but you can steal it once it is cut. So this is what it is saying. Okay. Secondly, a moving affected by the same act which affects the severance might be a theft. Like, for example, if you cut the tree, then and it falls over there, then it is liable for theft. Okay, but it is not theft because you have just cut it down. But if you cut it in a manner that, like, it kind of slides down the hill and kind of comes into your own possession, then that is called theft because you have already moved it. Apart from just cutting it, you have also moved it, so it is already theft. Okay. Third one, A person is said to cause a thing to move by removing an obstacle which prevented it, isn't it? So suppose like there was a dog of yours. Okay, I unlocked the cage, the dog became free. Then I stole it, isn't it? Because like there was an obstacle to the theft, which was the lock on the cage. Once I opened that, then it was theft. Okay. A person who by any means cause an animal to move is said to move that animal, and to move everything in consequence of the motion so caused is moved by the animal. So suppose there is a horse with a cart, okay, and in that cart there are a lot of like trading items like carpets and jewelry and whatever it is, okay. So if I steal the horse, then along with the horse the wagon is also attached. So I am stealing not only the horse but the wagon also. Everything that is attached to the horse, I am stealing. Okay. Finally, the consent mentioned in the definition might be express or implied and may have been given either by the person in possession or by any person having for that purpose authority, either express or implied. Okay. So, for example, consent might be like if you came and asked me that, hey, like, can I borrow your borrow your bike, or can I borrow your pen? I want to write. And if I just like don't say anything and it's lying over, then you take it and start writing with it, and I don't object to it. That is a implied consent, isn't it? And similarly, if, for example, you know, I am writing an exam. I'm busy writing an exam at that point. Okay. And basically, the invigilator has been given authority to deal with like my belongings and everything while I am writing that exam. So, suppose the neighboring person, in order not to disturb me, ask the teacher or the invigilator, like, ma'am, I don't have a pen. Can I borrow his pen? And the teacher says okay and gives me the pen. That is given by a person having that authority on my behalf. Okay, so all these things must be remembered when we are talking about theft. Okay, section 378 and IPC. Now there is one very landmark judgment called KN Mehra versus State of Rajasthan, where it was held that proof of intention to cause permanent deprivation of property or to obtain wrongful gain is not necessary for the purpose of proving dishonest intention. Absence of a person's consent to the to whom the property belongs at the time of moving it, and the presence of dishonest intention are the only elements to commit theft. That means that when you are trying to prove that somebody had committed theft, you don't have to bother that there was an intention to cause permanent deprivation of property, okay, or to obtain wrongful gain. Okay, so basically I don't have to prove that I am going to gain something. There are people called kleptomaniacs, okay, who just steal for the sake of stealing. Okay, they have no use for that thing. There is no gain that has to be obtained from it, but they steal. Okay, and secondly, it might not be a necessity to have a permanent deprivation of property. Like I am a kleptomaniac. Okay, let's say I go to mall and I pick up random things which I don't need. Okay, I pick up some some random things, like I pick up some like probably some products which have no use for me. Okay, and 2 3 days later I return those products also without using them. All right, it doesn't matter, I have committed theft. So number one, there is no intention to cause permanent deprivation of property. I'm going to return it, doesn't matter, it's theft. Secondly, there is no intention to obtain wrongful gain. I'm not even going to use that thing, doesn't matter, it's theft. Okay, so the only things that are actually relevant are dishonest intention. I had a bad intention to steal. I had a negative mindset that when I took that product, I had the intention that I'm going to take it with me. Okay, that is necessary. And there was no consent. If I went to a shop and I took that product, the shopkeeper did not agree to that. So that is without the consent. So only these two factors are important. Okay, not the earlier two. So what is not important? It's not important that I should want to cause a permanent deprivation. It's not important that I should want a wrongful gain. What is important? That I did not take the consent and that there was some dishonest intention, mens rea. These are the two elements. Okay. Voluntary intoxication is not a defense. involuntary intoxication is a defense. Okay, so suppose I kind of gave some kind of intoxicating drug or some drinks, or some, I forced somebody to get intoxicated and I said, hey, go and steal that thing. That person was just like not in their senses, they went and they stole it. That's a defense. Even in criminal law, it's a defense of like other things like harm, wrongful harm, and if you hit somebody and if you steal something and all of these things. But if I myself got drunk, if I myself took some drugs, and in that drunken state or in that intoxicated state I went and committed a theft, I'm still liable. I can't give that excuse that I'm drunk. I only got drunk. That's my fault. I have to be responsible, right? That's the thing. Okay. Now, let's move on to questions. This fact situation, read it carefully because this will form the basis of all the questions. Okay. So read it carefully and then raise your hand.
Uh, Hardik's only son Tanish was turning 21 on this Saturday. His father Hardik invited his batchmates for a surprise party at their Chingiri villa. Hardik, being an open minded father, allowed them to have alcohol at their party as they were of the legal age to drink. While the party was going on, Anish spread a rumor that Tanish's father Hardik is going to gift him a BMW. Getting excited after hearing this news, Tanish, being intoxicated, took out the BMW car from the garage and after that headed for a long drive along with Anish. So, I think the answer should be B because there's theft is not there because in the end he was the only person who is gonna get the car and he then took it out with an intention of stealing it.
Can you say it again?
I feel that the answer option B is correct
D or
because
B?
B, yes sir.
B. Okay.
So because because anyways there was a rumor and he didn't took the car out with an intention of stealing it.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Anyone else? Yes, Ananya, go ahead.
So it's not a like answer, but I want to ask who do we consider is in possession of the car?
Means at what point of time?
Yeah, in this case, since Hardik isn't there, but it's in Hardik's garage. So who will be in possession of the car at that time?
There is something called constructive possession. Okay, it doesn't mean like right now I'm not holding my phone is here right now, I'm in possession of my phone. But if I keep my phone on the table, am I not in possession of it? Anything that belongs to me, I am in possession of. Okay, it's like that. And if I give it to somebody else to keep for me, then they are in possession of it, even though ownership belongs to me. So there is a difference between ownership and possession. Okay, possession means the person with whom it is kept. So if it is my house, it is my garage, it is my car, I am in possession. Okay, but if it is my house and my garage, but I give you my car for a while, hey, like, why don't you keep my car for a week and like drive it, because I'm going out of town, then car is in your possession. Okay. So if somebody steals the car from your house, then it's a theft against you, because theft is against possession, not against ownership. Okay. So if somebody steals the car when it's in your house, even though it's my car, the theft has happened to you. Means they have stolen from you, not from me. Yeah, Ananya.
So, sir, in this case, his son shouldn't be in possession of the car. But because he could take the BMW car, should it be assumed that he had the keys to the BMW?
No,
So
because
that makes it,
the keys would have been lying at home, right? Because he's living in the same house as
yes,
his
sir.
father. It's his father's house and the father's villa. So, of course, the keys of the car would be in the house, but the car belongs to his father, and the father is in possession of the car because the car is parked in the garage of the father, right? So the father is very much in possession of the car at the starting of this problem, and the car, I mean, it totally belongs to the father, and it's in possession of the father. So that's not in doubt. Okay.
The answer should be C then.
Right. The answer should be C. Okay. Why it is not uh, D, first of all, I'll say it's because like theft is not with Anish. He stole the car himself and then took Anish along with him for a drive. That's a different thing. If I like steal some chocolate and I give it to you and you eat it, doesn't mean you are guilty of theft, right? I have stolen the chocolate and then I have given it to you to eat. So that is my theft, not yours. Okay. Second of all, Tanish is not liable for committing theft because there was no dishonest intention and he only moved the BMW car under the false impression that was caused by the rumor. It doesn't matter what caused the false impression in your mind, whether it was a rumor or something. The car did not belong to you. The car was not in your possession. You took the car out with the dishonest intention of driving it around. That's a dishonest intention. You did not have an honest intention. If you had an honest intention, you would have asked your father for permission. Okay, who is to say that this is a honest intention? Driving around drunk in town, is it a honest intention? No, it's a dishonest intention. It is an intention to commit a crime, because drunken driving is a crime under law. Okay, so you cannot call it an honest intention. It's a dishonest intention. Okay, like I said, it doesn't matter that he meant to return the car later. Remember, I told you, if I'm a kleptomaniac, I steal it and I said 3 days later I will return it. That's not how it works. You can't steal it in the first place. Okay. And C, Tanish is liable for committing theft because his father never gifted him that car. It was in the possession of Hardik, the father, which Tanish took in his possession without his consent. That is exactly the ingredients of theft. Okay. That's why the answer will be C. All right. Good. The main thing is not to get the answer right or wrong. Main thing is to try. So I think Shantanu also very good, Ananya and everybody else who's participating. Okay. And I would like some other people also to participate. Yeah. Don't just be a spectator. Like for example, Akansha, Manisha, Sachin, so many of you all. Right. Why don't you all try? Hmm? Okay. Next question. The facts are the same as before, but something has changed. Let us see.
So can we have the options, please?
It's here, no? A, B, C, D. Can't you see? It's not visible.
Sorry, sir, I was reading third question.
Yes, Ananya.
Sir, I think the answer answer should be C, because in option A, while it's similar to C, uh, there's a factor of implied consent, but there was no. I don't think Pratyush was present to express or imply his consent. And in option B, it's wrong. It's wrong because there's nothing mentioned in the passage about the presence of the uncle affecting whether it will amount to theft or not. And since A and B are both contradictory, D is eliminated. So I think it should be C.
How is A contradictory?
A and B are contradictory
How
to
is
each
A
other.
contradictory?
No, so A and B together, they're opposite. One is saying
So
one is
A
liable, and the
contradictory.
other is
So
saying it's
and
not
you are saying
liable.
C, right? So why not A?
So because I don't, the absence of Pratyush, since Pratyush wasn't present when his sorry, since the name, the son wasn't present, so the son couldn't give his consent expressly or impliedly to Pratyush.
Correct. Very, very good.
So
That's
that's
the
why.
correct answer.
Sorry, the name, I messed up the names.
Now, if you see here in question number 1, Hardik is the father, not the son. Okay. So keep that in mind. Priyanshu, yes?
So, like finding Hardik's son, right? That's the ulterior motive. His intention was to take the bike without the consent of Hardik. So that should be mounted to theft, right?
No, his intention was to look for the son.
Yeah,
His
that would be
intention was to
ulterior
look
motive.
for,
His first intention was to take the bike without the consent.
well,
Now he's
if
using
you
that
think,
bike to.
if you
That
think
would be
about
the.
it, if the father's if a father's son is missing, okay, and the father has gone looking for him, do you think that the father, if he was there, would refuse if his brother said, I will look for your son? If Hardik was there at that time and Pratyush had offered to look for this one, Tanish, do you think Hardik would say no? Don't go look for my son. Don't take my motorcycle. What do you think?
How can we know that
No,
he would have
this is
given
your
his
common
consent?
sense. This is your implied knowledge. This is reasoning. This is why it's a reasoning paper. No, it's not a direct one-to-one paper. Understood? These are the kind of questions that had come in CLAT this time, hadn't they? They were not like just directly. You have to imagine the situation that Tanish has gone off on a joyride. Okay, a drunken joyride. Okay, his father has gone looking for him. Okay, his uncle. I mean, why do you think his uncle? Then you will say like, why has the uncle gone looking? It is clearly mentioned that the uncle has gone looking for the son only for the purpose of searching for Tanish. That is the purpose. Purpose means intention, right? The aim. So the aim over here was not to steal the bike. The aim over here was to look for the son, and in that process, he has taken the bike, and uh, this is with the implied consent of Hardik. Okay, because obviously when a father has gone looking for his son, then if the uncle is joining in the same process, you can assume that the uncle would have gotten the kind of consent, especially since he has access to the keys. That's the way he could take the bike. How did he have access to the
That
keys?
would be the there would be the ulterior motive, right?
Well,
Like he
see, this
wants
is a matter
to
of
find
this
the
is a,
son.
see this is a matter of opinion. Okay, I personally don't think that it's an ulterior motive. When you say, it sounds very negative, like the nephew used to kind of visit the uncle because he had an ulterior motive of stealing his property. Ulterior motive is a very, very negative connotation. Okay, when you say ulterior motive, what do you mean? The ulterior
But
motive was to steal.
no, no,
That
the ulterior motive was to find the son.
That is no, that is not correct. The ulterior motive is to steal. Then you can say ulterior motive means something which is a hidden motive, right? Why don't you Google ulterior motive?
Yeah, that's what exactly I'm saying. His intention was first to take the bike. Now, by taking the bike, his like the end motive that he had, why he took the bike was to find the son.
Alternative or extrinsic reason for doing something, especially when concealed or when differing from the stated or apparent reason. So now tell me, ulterior motive is stealing the bike or kind of searching for the sun? Ulterior motive means an alternative or extrinsic reason for doing something, especially when concealed or when differing from the stated or apparent reason. What is the stated reason over here? Tell me.
Uh, to find the son.
That's the stated reason, and you are implying an ulterior motive which is not mentioned anywhere, that he wanted to steal the bike. Where is it written? It's simply written he wanted to kind of look for the sun. It's the stated objective, and ulterior means some hidden objective. So if at all there was an intention to steal the bike, that would be the ulterior motive, not looking for the sun. Looking for the sun is the main objective. Ulterior motive you are imagining, it is nowhere written in passage, it is nowhere mentioned anywhere, and it is written he has gone to search for the sun. So how can you imply some negative mens rea in his mind which is not written there, which is not mentioned anywhere? Clearly it is mentioned that, oh, he found that the sun was missing, so he also went to search for the sun. Right.
Okay.
Okay. Shall we move on to the next one, or anyone wants to comment on this? Because very good. I'm very happy, Priyanshu, because this is the kind of, this is reasoning ultimately. Like, I have made this problem. This is my brain. This is my logic. Maybe your brain and your logic says something else, isn't it? It's a matter of logic. There's no sacrosanct hard and fast. Even in the clad paper, we do object, right? And there are changes made every year, right? So it's okay. This is a matter of reasoning. So you have to sharpen your reasoning skills. You have to ask why and where, not in every question for the sake of it. Okay, I'm not saying just why not B, why not C, why not A, not that way. But I'm saying, like, it's good that you should have questions in your mind, reasons in your mind. Don't just accept everything I say, but yeah, mostly you should follow along with what we are teaching. Okay, don't try to just find loopholes or those kind of things. Don't just for the sake of it play the devil's advocate. Devil's advocate means somebody who goes against the grain, like, when there is one line which is being taken by everybody, then somebody takes the opposite line, like you call Ram Jitnani as a devil's advocate because he always used to argue the opposite side. Okay, that kind of thing. All right, so good. Next, third question. There are only two more questions in this, so let's do these two and then wrap up for today. Okay. Okay. Let's see who can answer. Yes, anyone? Shantanu, go ahead.
Uh, Same facts as question 1. Tanish parked the BMW car at a gas station and went to refresh along with Anish. While his car was at standby, Hardik came to the gas station and took away the BMW to their villa, keeping his Land Rover in standby at the same place. Tanish, being intoxicated, drove away the Land Rover, considering it BMW mistakenly. So I think answer option A is correct.
Okay.
And so, sir, if you look at option C states that Hardik will be liable for theft of BMW as he took the car out of the possession of Tanish. But
Tell me something. Tell me something. that usually when you go to a shopping mall or something, then what do you do with your car?
So we park it at the parking spot.
So does it mean it's not in your possession? I can go and steal it, no problem.
No, so it's still in my possession.
So then it cannot be a gas station. Means he didn't just leave it in the petrol pump, right? Like he parked it somewhere. Like gas station means like when it says he went to freshen up in gas station, it means like there is some place where you park your car and go and freshen up, right? It's not like you leave it lying in the middle of the parking in the gas station. Gas station is a way of saying like in a gas station you see there are convenience shops, right? In and out and all those things. So it means he has parked his car, he has gone inside. So it's not like he has abandoned his car. And even if you abandon your car in the middle of the road, you are still in possession of the car. It doesn't mean you have abandoned the position of the car. Okay. So,
So what I inferred was, since the facts are same as question 1, and in the first question we concluded that Tanish stole the car from his father's possession.
yeah.
So in relation to that, that's why I thought that answer C would be wrong, since the car is still Hardik's car and he simply took it out of
No,
the
no, no.
possession of
Here you
Tanish.
are talking about, Baba, here you are talking about the Land Rover, not the BMW. The BMW was stolen by Tanish. Here they are saying that Tanish is not liable as Hardik was no longer in the possession of car he left at gas station. Which car did he leave at gas station?
Hardik left the Land Rover.
Yeah. And in the previous question, we were talking about BMW.
BMW.
Right. So what happened over here is that Hardik, the son, finally went to a petrol station and went to freshen up over there. Okay. Meanwhile, the father reached there. He parked his car. He parked the second car somewhere, and he took back the first car. Okay. But the
Yes.
second car, which he left at the petrol station, was still in his possession. Doesn't mean that he abandoned it. Now it's not my car anymore, or I'm not in possession of it anymore. I'm still in possession of it. It's just like I'm not sitting inside it. That doesn't mean it's not in my possession. It's not mine. Okay. Otherwise, every time you go to shopping mall to watch movie, somebody will take your car. Right.
Yes, sir.
Then Tanish will not be liable. Right. So then,
Yeah. Okay.
what
So both A and C are correct, because
no, A
and
we
because
already discussed is not correct.
sorry, sir.
A, we just now discussed that A is not correct. Right.
But sir, B says that he genuinely mistook Land Rover for BMW, and he was intoxicated, and he was voluntary intoxicated, and since voluntary intoxication is can't be used as a defense, so would we still consider B as an option?
See, it can't be used as a defense to theft, but it is not a question of intoxication over here. It is a question of mens rea over here. Okay. So for theft, the primary ingredient is intention, guilty mind, mens rea. Okay. So here, whether or not he was intoxicated, he's not taking intoxication as a defense. He's taking good faith as a defense. He's saying it was never my intention to steal this Land Rover. Okay, I thought it was a BMW. So when you don't have the guilty mind, when you don't have the mens rea, then it is not theft. All right, that is the first and foremost kind of ingredient of 378. Okay, mens rea. All right.
All right, sir. Okay.
Yes, Priyanshu.
So wouldn't be it the continuation of crime? Like he had mens rea of stealing. Like if someone has mens rea of
But that
murdering
was the
someone.
BMW, na? We are talking about two separate things here. He is still guilty of stealing the BMW. But for Land Rover, you can say he never had the intention to steal the
Yes,
Land
sir.
Rover.
Let's say X has a mens rea of killing A, and he
Yeah.
goes and kills B accidentally, but he
Yeah.
still would still be liable for murder, right?
No,
For
he
murder
would
of
not
B.
be liable for murder. He would then be he or she would then be liable for involuntary manslaughter, okay, or culpable homicide, not amounting to murder. There are different sections in IPC. And why? Why would he not be guilty of murder? Because he didn't have intention. But does it mean he would not be guilty of anything? You can just go around and then say that I didn't have the intention. No, you will still be guilty of culpable homicide not amounting to murder, which is also a crime, but it lacks intention. So all of the murder is culpable homicide, but all culpable homicide is not murder. Culpable homicide, when you add intention, then it becomes murder. Understood? So it's same over here. He never had the intention of stealing the Land Rover. If he for example, in the fact, it's very clearly given. He considering it as BMW mistakenly means without any guilty mind by mistake. Okay, but what if he had stepped out of that gas station? He had seen that, oh my God, my dad has taken back the BMW, but he has left his Land Rover. Doesn't matter. Let me take his Land Rover. Then he would be guilty of theft of Land Rover also. But he did not realize it's a different car. He just saw, okay, it's my car only, and he drove that same car and went. So he cannot be held guilty of that, but he can still be held guilty of stealing the BMW. Understood? If after recognizing and realizing it's a Land Rover, he kept on driving it and everything, then it will be called a theft. Okay, so intention is the first and foremost thing about criminal law. All right, that you must remember. All right, so final question for today. It is again with relation to the same facts. Go through it and let us answer. Please raise your hand. This is also a trick question. Okay, so answer, think carefully and answer. Okay, Shantanu, go ahead.
While the villa was going through all the fuss, many batchmates started leaving the villa for their hostels. Laksh, one of the attendees, decided to leave from the side gate of the villa. He left the gate open by mistake, and three pet dogs of Hardik followed him through his scent, as the dogs were fond of Laksh. Laksh got to know uh, that after he was midway to the hostel, but he let them follow him anyways. So, answer option B should be correct here. That's what I feel. B states that Laksh will be liable for dishonest misappropriation of the dogs as he kept them in his possession even after knowing what that they did not belong to him.
Okay.
And answer option A is also going in the same line, but
Okay. Laksh is liable for theft as he dishonestly let the dogs follow him to the hostel.
yeah,
Right?
but I feel like B is more direct in that sense.
Now let us look at explanation 4. This is the one that's concerned with us, right? A person who by any means causes an animal to move is said to move that animal, and to move everything which in consequence of the motion so moved is moved by that animal, right? Like I said, if you take a horse which is drawing a cart, so you have stolen the horse also, plus you have stolen the cart also, plus you have stolen everything that is inside the cart. Okay, so if you are causing an animal to move by any means, then you are moving that animal. Okay, and moving an animal through any means is called theft, isn't it? Right. So in this case, just read it once more and tell me, do you think that Laksh is guilty of theft of the dogs? Yes, Ananda.
So I think A should be the answer because as we read the what was that explanation 4, with reference to animal moving of the animal, and then the animal becomes responsible for its own action. But in explanation 3, they said removing of obstacle which prevents the animal in this case. So when he opened the gate, and then later in explanation 2, as we move backwards, it says a moving affected by the same act. Oh, I'm just getting confused. Sorry. I will just no.
Okay. Shantanu, yes?
Sir, answer option D should be correct after reading the explanation because intention was not there.
D.
No, so sorry, C.
C.
C, yes, sir.
Lux is not liable for the theft as he did not dishonestly induce the dogs to follow him out of possession of Hardik. Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's look over here. First of all, explanation 3. A person is said to cause a thing to move. Dog is not a thing. Animal is not a thing, first of all. So explanation 3 is not relevant, but I like your logic. I really like your logic. That he opened the gate, so basically he removed the obstacle. This is the example also I gave, right? Like the vicious dog and everything, but that's not a serious example. That was just like kind of like a illustration. You can't call it animal as a thing. Okay, what it actually means is like for example, if like you have a water outlet, okay, in your house or your compound, and I open like the gate somehow that the water flows inside my house. Okay, that is called theft. By removing an obstacle which was in the way, I managed to get it inside my own house, something like this. Okay, now a person who by any means causes an animal to move is said to move that animal. Has Laksh caused the animal to move by any means? Has Laksh moved that animal? Well, you can say yes if you consider love to be some sort of means. Okay, because the dogs were moved only because of the love for Laksh, right? But in law, there is no definition of love. Okay, there is a definition of natural love and affection, which is the consideration for a gift. Like, whenever you have any contract, there has to be consideration. But sometimes your father just gives you something for nothing in return. So that nothing in return is called natural love and affection. That is a basic consideration for a gift in law. But a dog following you can't be said that you moved that dog. Okay, moving the dog means grabbing it by the leash and taking it with you. That is called moving a dog or moving an animal. Okay, if a dog follows you voluntarily because they are fond of you, that cannot be called moving. Okay, as per law. That is why if we look over here, Laksh is not liable for the theft of dogs, as he did not dishonestly induce the dogs to follow him out of the possession of Hardik. Okay, that is why the answer will be C. Okay, so this is basically all for today. We have run a bit over time, but and we have done only 2 passages, but I followed this new method because like when I'm giving you all worksheets or things which you all have done beforehand, then sometimes some of you all have done, some of you all have not done. For some people it's new, for some people it's old. So like there's not really kind of any fruitful discussion that takes place. I feel like here what happens is something new is presented to you without the answers, so it's like some sort of actual discussion takes place, and many of you have given very very good arguments here, like all of you all who spoke, Priyanshu, Mimansha, Ananya, Shantanu, Ashank, everybody who spoke, right? And I would like the others also to participate, right? Akansha, Manisha, Sachin, so let's have a more inclusive discussion. But great job all of you, and this is what I want. I want some sort of participation. There's no right and wrong answer. Obviously what I say is right, but that's just because I'm like your teacher, right? At the end of the day, law is about discussion. That is why one law which has been made today is amended tomorrow, because parliament also realizes that okay, there's some change. Some judgment which has been given by Supreme Court is overruled because the judges also realize okay, there is something different. So there is absolutely nothing right and wrong. That's why we have courts. If everything was decided, we don't need courts, right, to interpret the law. So once again, great job. I think you all have really picked up. Okay, and do you all prefer this style today, what we did, or do you all prefer earlier what we were following? What do you all think? Just tell me.
So this one.
This one, right? Because it's like more kind of like immediate. Okay. And of course, today we were only able to discuss 2 passages because in this new format, there is more scope for discussion, right? There's not just like, oh, this is the CLAT paper, this is the answer. Somehow we have to justify the answer. No. Here we are having more and more debate. Okay, so of course we are going to try and pick up the pace little bit. We are going to try and do 3, 4, 5 passages in a day. Okay, but this is the right attitude. If you do 2 passages in this way, it will be better for you than doing an entire section of some mock, which you have solved earlier and you have seen the answers to. All right, so we are going to have our separate mock tests and sectional tests and everything, but in class we are going to do some brand new material. And one more thing I'll request, that don't neglect the mocks, okay, because I found that the sectional tests hardly few of you in this group have done. Okay, so it's for your own benefit. I will not gain anything if you do or not. Of course, these materials will anyway later on be like found in published form and this that, like when I write my books. So the only benefit that you all are getting is that you all are doing it in such a immediate manner, and you all can directly come and ask me or the other teachers if you have any doubts. So please take advantage of this. Okay, really I would suggest, please take advantage of this. Okay, so if there are no questions for today, we can wrap up. And Saturday, yeah, Han, I'll take you. So and Saturday we are going to have some kind of, because I think like Q&A style, many of you have already had many of your doubts cleared. So from now we will bring in some of our clad sure toppers, okay, who actually this time did very well, and you can talk to them about their tips and tricks and preparation techniques and things like this. Okay, I think that will help you all a lot. Okay, yes, Shantanu, and then Mimansh.
So, what topics would sir be teaching tomorrow for logical?
Logical, again, he is going to take a, he is going to first of all explain few basic concepts of logical reasoning, and then he is going to teach you from a worksheet, just like I taught you today. Same way he will teach you from a worksheet. Okay,
Okay.
so he will teach you some basic concepts, then he will teach you a worksheet. Okay, yes, Mimansh.
Sir, actually, I was having a question regarding the legal sectional test. So can I ask that?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I have given 2 tests and scored literally very poor. Like I am not able to comprehend the passage and attempt all the questions in the allotted time. And due to the pressure of time, and I end up selecting the wrong answers. So how should I increase the reading speed, and also how should I improve my legal?
See, this is like a very, very kind of question which is going to take a lot of time to fix, right? It's not one stop solution that this is how you should do. Reading is something which is developed from a very, very young age. Maybe you were not having the reading habit from a young age, right? So now you have to develop that reading habit. And the way you will develop is by reading. How else will you develop reading habit? By reading. Have you read a lot in your life? Tell me. Have you read a lot of books
Not
in your life? Not really, right? So
no, sir, not much. 5 or 6.
5 or 6. Do you play any sports? Do you play any
Yeah,
sports?
badminton.
You play badminton. How did you get good at
Yes,
badminton? By
yes, sir.
playing badminton. You got good at badminton
By
by playing
practicing.
badminton, right? If you have read 5 books in your life, then how will you expect to be good at reading, right? So start with editorials. Are you reading editorials?
Yes, sir.
Read editorials. Your speed will
Yes, sir, I'm
automatically
reading.
increase. Your speed will automatically increase. Spend 2 hours every day reading editorials of all the newspapers you can find. That will increase your speed. That will increase your GK also. I always tell
Okay.
one technique of, like drawing an invisible line down the passage and, kind of reading. But that is speed reading. Before speed reading, you need to learn reading. Reading fast and speed reading are two different things. Okay, reading fast means reading something and understanding it, and speed reading is something which is totally different. That's not where you are right now. At your level right now, in your journey of reading, you first just read slowly, then you try to understand what's written over there, then only you will improve, but you need to hurry up. Okay, you don't have that much time now. Okay, second of all, if
Yes,
you're
sir.
scoring low in mocks, first of all, it's because you are not understanding the passages in the time limit. So obviously you're not being able to
Yes, sir.
answer them. So first time it's okay, but after you finish the mock now, why don't you read it slowly once? Read each and every passage slowly, read each and every question slowly, see where you have gone wrong, see why the answer should be A and not B, what you have marked. Okay, and after analyzing the
Okay.
paper, attempt it again, see how much you score. After that, attempt it one more time after analyzing. Okay, you have to put in a lot of hard work, because like what you are telling me shows me that, there is a lot to work. There's a lot,
Yes, sir.
you need to work. Okay, you need to build your reading speed, you need to build your reasoning skills, and you need to build your analytical skills as well. Analytical skills, I mean analysis of mock, analysis of where you have gone wrong. Okay, if you have answered one passage and you have got 3 wrong and 2 right, then you analyze what you did wrong in those 3, and you analyze what you did right in those 2, and try to implement that in the other 3. Understood?
Okay.
Every sectional test which I have given on this app, I have given 3 attempts. Why? So that you do one and give your friends another one? No, it's so that you do it 3 times. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
No problem. Okay, so let's wrap up for today. Any more questions that you all have, we will discuss it on Saturday. I'm anyway going to take another class, and would you all actually like to speak to some of the people who have done well this time from CLAT 2020, like people who have gotten into NALSAR and stuff from CLAT Sure. I was planning to have like a discussion with them, like a toppers talk, what you see on YouTube and stuff. Would you all be interested in that? Or do you think like I should just have it separately on YouTube or something? Like that's not something you all would be much interested in. Tell me.
So
Yeah.
any would do.
Sorry.
Any would do, either on YouTube or in the
No, no,
class.
no. I mean, like, would you all be interested in participating or not, in asking questions and in seeing their answers and
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely.
okay, good. And Ananya, you say?
Yeah, I was just going to say yes.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah, because I think it will be useful for you all, right? To see what they did. See, I have told you what I did, and Rishabh has told you what he did, and Shavik sir will also tell you. But they are like very, very current. They're like 2020, right? In the new pattern, they have cracked it. So they must be having some secrets, which I would also like to find out. So let's ask them and see what they have to say. Okay. So Saturdays we will keep for like general Q&A and some sort of toppers talk as well. Okay. So again, thank you all, and have a good evening, rest of it, and see you all tomorrow for logical reasoning class with Shavik. So I will also be around, don't worry. Yeah. So hopefully you all will gain a lot from him, just like you all clicked with Rishabh. I hope that you all will click with Shavik sir as well. Okay. So good evening. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.